I did electronics. They had quite a few bass players, I hear. I never actually met any of them. I've heard some stories about. I've heard some stories about some of them. And I happened to have got my equipment down in London, so I got myself introduced to them and said I'd be interested. And so basically I went along for an audition. I learned some of the songs. You know, they were doing a lot of some of the numbers. I remember things like Great King Rat and one or two other numbers off the first album. The group were, in a way, very much well-formed, you know. I mean, they had all the material for the first album, all bar one or two tracks they were already doing, you know. They had quite a backlog of songs and ideas for stage production and, you know, how to put the group over. Were all there, in a way. I came along, in a way, as a bit of an outsider at first. And it did take me quite a few years to sort of grow more into the group, you know, and find myself at home, really. It was only a spare time thing, you know, even with Queen, you know, I really didn't expect it to take off, really, you know. The person who's written a song tends to be the one person who sees that one song all the way through, from the idea they have in their head at first, you know, the final production, you know, the sounds on everything and the mix. It's very difficult for any group, the first album you do, always, the studio's a new thing, right? I mean, even on the first album, we managed to get in a bit, you know. I mean, I heard from a friend that they were looking for the bass guitarist to join their group. On the first album, we learnt a lot of the ins and outs of the studio. We started working with Roy Baker, really, who's a very technical whiz. He could actually enable us to do all the ideas that we had, you know, and to keep it under control. All the technical things that we wanted to do in the studio, he was able to put those into effect for us. It was the first time we really got into the big halls, you know, the Madison Square Gardens, you know, the Forum in Los Angeles and the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, those sort of big things. There we were, we'd had 3 albums and, you know, we were still there on a basic wage, you know.
So how do each of you then musically pull the band in certain directions? I mean, I'm thinking of your songs, for example, which always strike me as being so melodic, John, and add that input into them.
Yes, yeah. Well, that just obviously comes from the type of songs that the individuals write, you know, because we are four individuals, really, you know. I mean, we are quite different in our musical tastes as well, you know. Mine tend to be, you know, in that slightly lighter, you know. I don't think I could ever write a heavy song, you know. It's not in me.
When did you begin to get to a stage where you felt between you that you could take over the desk yourselves completely?
It comes to a stage where all you really need is an engineer, really, because the idea of balancing and sounds you want, I mean, it's you know, I mean, an artist or musician should really know what they want, you know, and the only person needed to implement that is an engineer, really, in a way. And when you're doing a mix, you know, when you're mixing down the track from the tapes, I mean, you know, it's setting it up, and then we actually sit down and work the controls as well, you know. Typical.
Right, so
You try to be last, but never make it. Yeah, it's always a battle trying to be last.
Oh, horrible useless bass player. He's going to start taking. I got a photograph of him.
Smiling? Oh, how did he get that?
He even managed to get on the video.
I fucking tripped tonight. I was so pissed at myself.
Management record company, the lot, and we were very badly handled. Well, not badly handled. No, we were
badly handled.
we didn't get a penny of record royalties from the first 3 albums from them. It was so basically we got out of that one, right, by re-signing with a guy called John Reed, who also manages
a good song on the back.
Yeah, we signed with him for 3 years, right, which basically comes up, which finishes in about September next year, and what we're looking at that point in time is basically to just look after ourselves and you know, and do it completely on our own.
It's the long road.
Smile.
So